Hello and welcome to Business Foundations. My name is Casey Dene. I hope most of you know me. And today we're going to be breaking down the pieces you need to have in place in your business so you don't have to keep repeating yourself. The foundational pieces are what you grow from instead of having to restructure constantly. Okay? So the very first thing that we start with, the very top, ideal customer. Before you show up on social media, before you create an offer, this is what you need to have in place. And the reason for that is, you've probably heard this quote before. It is so much easier to create offers for your ideal clients than it is to find clients for your offers. And deep down inside, most of us know who we want to work with. There's just usually a story that says, I can't work with that person until I X, or I can't work with that person until Y. I can't work with that person until I learn blah, 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 right? And so what I encourage you to do, and if you are in Soul of Service, I'll clarify this because I just don't know where this video is going to end up entirely. If you are in Soul of Service, we're breaking this down. We will have clear understanding in your guide who your ideal client is through your human design and your astrology chart. So we're breaking that down. But when you start with your ideal client, it gives you the ability to create offers that fit them. It's like a wedding dress, for example. Nobody's going to come to you for a wedding dress that cannot be tailored to them. Nobody wants a one-size-fits-all wedding dress, right? And when we get down to it, investing in someone's services online is a special experience. It is a special day. It is a special problem, right? And so you don't want to be just talking that you don't want to be creating a wedding dress for everybody. Or another example of this is like we talk about in the new mom or the grieving space is when you're somebody who's a new mom or has lost someone, instead of going, oh, just let me know what you need to help. Let me know what you need help with, right? Is going, I can help you on Tuesdays and Thursdays by bringing over a casserole dinner. On Saturdays, I can pick up your groceries from Walmart if you do the shop of blah, 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 blah. On Thursdays, I can come over and watch the baby so you can get some sleep, right? Specific, tailored experiences. So it gives us the ability to create offerings that match that person, that are fit perfectly like a glove to that person in that specific situation. But the next level of this is social media. And you've probably had this experience. Let me write that better. I've got to learn to write better now that I'm here. Is on social media is that the best, like the most well-rounded accounts don't just talk about one thing. They talk about these other different pieces of their experience. So for example, I follow someone who's a mom, who is a business leader, and she has over time, her ICA has shifted to include women who are also moms. It goes in that age range. They're entrepreneurs. She speaks deeply to entrepreneurship, but also to being a mom. So things that where she talks about challenges in raising them, challenges that they got sick, for example, and she still had to show up for a call or had to cancel a call, right? When we're trying to show up on social media, it's like, that know, like, and trust factor. But which parts of your deeply multifaceted life are going to serve you in a social space versus just being confusing content for someone? So you have to ask yourself. So for example, you can create tips for those people. Sure, I mean, there's a million content pillars. There's a million people who can logic and strategy your way into what it means to make this social media presence, right? But the well-rounded piece, the piece where people get to trust you and like you, is when you understand what part of your story it also aligns with your ICA story, because there's going to be in common. I mean, most people don't want someone helping them who doesn't understand their struggle intimately, right? So it gives you this presence on social media where you can take other pieces and fit it directly to them. So you're always drawing in the right people, right? I've had this experience in my own life. You probably found me through my daily astrology forecast, right? thousands of people write a daily astrology forecast, and I could have written that forecast in a totally different way and attracted totally different people. I could have talked about when it's a good time to meet romantic partners, and when we're under transits where if you're meeting someone, it's not a great idea to continue down that path with them, right? I could have framed it in what it's like, what you're going to expect from your coworkers or your boss, or technical issues on the job, right? If I wanted to attract people who are in the corporate world. But I knew from even though for most of this time, I was not exclusively working with business owners, but I knew that's where I wanted to work. I knew because there's something special about women, especially in entrepreneurship, that is a devotion to creating your own reality. It gives you this in dealing with your stuff, not being like, oh, I'm going to be this forever, right? There's a growth mindset that comes with entrepreneurship that I knew was for me. So I wrote the daily astrology forecast with this person in mind, with my ICA in mind. And what happened is, even though my offerings have changed over time, I have always had the right people lined up for the right offering. Does that make sense? Okay. So from there, what we have in business looks like this. So we've got the core offer that we build for the ICA. Okay? But eventually in our business, and especially if you are in Soul of Service, we really want to start with just one offer. You want to nail one, because if you nail one, then you can figure out the rest. So we usually have a step ladder in business. High ticket, high touch. Okay. We have our mid-range opt-in. Mid-range. And this usually has some lowered amount or higher mixed amount of how hands-on it is. And then you have low ticket offers or introductory offers. And then you normally have a freebie. Okay. So when you're first starting out, before you even test these out, you can start with a freebie. Because if people are opting into your freebie like hotcakes, then you know you're onto something, okay? I've launched freebies that got 10 people over a month. I've launched freebies that got 150 people in less than 12 hours, okay? Obviously, the ones that went really well, I knew could be turned into an offering. But the other way to hack this is usually depending on your situation, and depending on what your own intuition says, it's usually easier to start with the mid-range option. And the reason for this is because it's a little bit easier for somebody new to invest in. But a lot of times these low ticket offers that you have, you're not going to have the clear understanding on them until you've worked with people at this level. Okay? Until you've had this, a lot of times we think we know what someone needs, or we think we know what that low ticket offer is going to be. But normally it's not until we're in the mid or the high range that these become clarified. It's basically you get in at the higher touch areas and then you go, oh my God, I'm just repeating myself. Oh my gosh, I'm just repeating myself. That's when you go, oh, I've got a low ticket offer for this. For other people, sometimes this is smaller. You're thinking about this from the store level. If you go to TJ Maxx, okay, I sometimes drink their, they have coffee flavor, right? I consistently go to TJ Maxx, and unfortunately, I normally don't buy anything else, but sometimes I do, to get that coffee flavor, right? And so, but it gets me in the store. Whereas if they didn't have that, I don't know if I'd go into TJ Maxx, because we have this thing called Gabriel Brothers. If you live in the north, you know where it's at. It's way cooler than TJ Maxx. But that's how you get people in the door. They begin to trust you a little bit more. But when you're just starting out, beginning at this stair level gives you a really unique opportunity. And I'm going to break this down for you. Okay? You can create a freebie that sells your mid-range offer. And if you are in Soul of Service, that's what just happened. Okay, and I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you use that freebie in the launch process, but I'm going to do that in another video so you can do them one at a time. Is you can create a freebie that sells this, okay? And especially if you're in the coaching space, the courses space, all of the things, you can create a freebie workshop that sells this, and then you can repurpose it, okay? So you have an ongoing freebie that you promote the freebie that sells people, and you set up an email sequence, and we'll talk all about all this in the launch video, so don't freak out. You can create this and sell people continuously into this offer. And there's a super fun way that, again, we'll talk about in the launch video, is so somebody coming into your social media for the first time. If you are promoting this offer, this freebie, it basically gets them in, they do the freebie, and then they either buy this or they don't. But they get to know you. They're on your email list, they get to know you a little bit better, right? But what happens too is if they don't buy the mid-range offer, maybe it's too expensive for them, it's not what they need right now, any of those things, when you get ready to have a lower range offer, you set up that email sequence where if they did not buy this, you retarget them to buy the lower ticket offer. Okay? And this allows you to start bringing in clients from that freebie when you're not constantly promoting, okay? So people can just come into your world and can sign up. And we'll talk again in the launch video of how to incentivize this and how to set it up. And especially if you're starting out, again, where I don't know where this video is going to be, where if you're not paying for an email provider currently, I recommend MailerLite because they will let you do this automation process that I'm talking about for free. Okay? The higher ticket, higher touch offers tend to be more launches. Okay? Or you can direct people that you think were a good idea for this one who really loved it, can direct them to this one at some point. Or they'll just naturally gravitate and ask about it. That's generally what happens. Okay, so to summarize it down, what we want to clarify, one step at a time, and in this order generally, is your ICA. What situation are they in that you can help them with? Which then brings us to the next thing. The solution. This is your offer. What solution, using the tools that you currently have now, the information that you currently have now, what gifts, tools do you have to help them in that situation? The situation that they're in. Maybe they are moms trying to balance running a business. Maybe they are women who are looking for more, and again, we'll break this down. I'm trying really, really hard. I've just been in some people's charts, and I'm trying really, really hard not to use their examples. So we'll talk more about that. The third thing we do is we create the social media strategy. So that this is just basically allowing more people to find you. That's what it is. At the end of the day, I talk a lot about Pilar Lesko. She's one of my favorites in business. I last checked, Pilar has 3,500 Instagram followers and has had 100K months back to back to back. Okay? So when we're talking about social media strategy, it's not the numbers. It is not the numbers. You can make a crap ton of money if you're using it strategically. And using it strategically is simply creating content that brings in this person, entertains them, inspires them, educates them, and then you pitch your solution. Right? And the best way to give them that solution or a taste of that solution is a freebie. And ideally, it's a freebie that sells the solution. Okay? So, those are the 4 steps. And if you're in Soul of Service with me, we're going to be breaking this down super, super deeply. And all of the guesswork gets taken out of it, which is incredible. And I love astrology and human design for that. So, what questions do you have that I could answer to make this a little bit more easy on you? And I'll see you in the next video.